Okay, so let's talk about commission first. Okay, so commission is a different way of getting paid than, for example, like hourly pay rate. Okay, so if you work on a commission, you're usually paid a percentage of the total sale or amount of the transaction. Okay, so people who work on commission, they, for example, if you are in car sales, likely you work on commission, right? Say you sell a car for $25,000, you get a certain percent of that. Maybe you get like a 2% commission, okay? And then you get a percentage of what you sold the car for, okay? So that's commission, okay? Also, sometimes people can get royalties, okay? So a royalty is like, it's generally like either a specific rate for, it's basically like a rate for some work that you've done, okay? And royalties typically depend on like sales of the item that you produced, okay? So a lot of the times people who get royalties are, for example, like authors or songwriters or people who wrote like a book, right? And then you sell your book and you get like a certain amount of money per copy that's sold in a royalty fee, okay? So this is typically like a fee or set amount received for every item sold. Okay. And a royalty is different from a commission because generally royalty is paid to the person who created it. Okay. So, so this is like typically for like authors, writers, musicians, they get paid based on royalties. Okay. They create a song. Every time that song gets played, like in, for example, like if it gets put in a movie, okay, then they're getting a royalty fee for it being in the movie soundtrack, okay? Or if you write a book, you get a certain royalty fee for every copy sold, okay? So that's royalties. It's a bit different than a commission, okay? Commission is usually a percentage of the total sale. It's commission is usually for people who are in sales specifically, okay? All right. So a piece worker, okay, a piece worker are employees that are paid by production rather than length of time. Okay, and a piecework rate is the amount of money they get for each item produced. Okay, so a lot of times people doing piecework rates, for example, are like people in manufacturing or people maybe in doing warehouse work, right? Like they get paid a piecework rate for every box of that they package up, right? So they're packing boxes with things to be shipped out, and so for every box they pack, they get 50 cents a box they pack or something like that, right? So they're not being paid hourly, they're being paid based on their production. So the more boxes they pack, the more like money they're going to make because they're getting a fee, like a amount of money per box they're packing, something like that. Okay. So That's our definitions today, okay? These are all different than being paid hourly, okay? I know before we talked about some people who get paid hourly and make W-2 salary. This is a little bit different, okay? So you'll see that in the examples that we go through today, okay? Let's look at our first example. So our first example says Adriana wrote a textbook for high school students. She receives a 10% royalty based on the total sales of the book. The book sells for $47.95 and 17,000 copies were sold last year. How much did Adriana receive in royalty payments for last year? Okay, so we know she's making a 10% royalty based on the sales. Okay, we know that the book is selling for $47.95 and it sold 17,000 copies. So we know she's getting 10% of this, whatever this ends up being. Okay, so first let's find out the total sales. Okay, to find the total sales, we're going to do 17,000 times the price per copy, which was $47.95. Okay, let's go ahead and get our calculator out. We're going to multiply to see what we get. Okay, so 17,000 times $47.95. Okay, we get 815,150. Okay, now she doesn't get all of that money, right? The publisher gets most of the money. She gets 10% royalty. Okay, so to figure out how much her royalty is, we're going to take her sales, which was 8,000 or 800,000, $815,150, and we're going to multiply by her percent as a decimal. So remember, to change 10% to a decimal, we're going to take the decimal and move it to place values, and that gives us 0.10. Okay, so we're going to take our 815,150 and multiply by 0.10. And so here's what we get. $81,515. Okay, so this is her royalty fee. This is how much she makes, okay, for the book selling 17,000 copies. Now, that was in last year, right? So if the book sells more copies this year, she's going to make another 10% on all the copies it sells this year. Okay, so that's the cool thing about royalties is you write the book once, but as it sells over time, you continue to get that 10% every time one of those books sells. Okay, so that's example one. Example two, it says Allison sells cosmetics part-time from door to door. She is paid a monthly commission. She receives 11% of her first 900 in sales and 17% of the balance of her sales. Last month, she sold $1,250 of cosmetics. How much commission did she earn last month? Okay, we know she makes 11% on the first 900. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to find out. She did sell more than 900, right? So we're going to find out how much she made on the first 900. So for the first 900, her commission is going to be the 900 times 11%. Okay, so that's going to be $99. Okay, now the rest of it, what is her commission going to be? Well, how much was the rest of her sales? Okay, well, the rest of her sales, we already got paid on 900, but she made $1,250 in sales. So we need to actually find what is the difference here. So I'm going to do some side work and I'm going to subtract. I'm going to subtract to find the difference. Okay, and so when I subtract to find the difference, I get $1,250 minus 900 is giving me $350. So she had $350 in sales that she's getting paid a higher rate. This is like the balance. Okay, this is the balance that she's getting paid on right now. Okay, so on this balance, she's making 17%. So I'm going to multiply by 0.17. So let's go ahead and put that in our calculator. 350 times 0.17. Okay, so I get 59.50. Okay, now her total is going to be the commission from the first part added to the commission from the second part. Okay, so her total is going to be the 99 plus the 59.50. Okay, so her total is going to be 158.50. Okay, so this is her total commission from last month. Okay, now I sincerely really hope that this is like a part-time job for her because this is not very much money, right, to make in a month. So hopefully this is just a part-time gig. But yeah, that's what she's going to make. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Okay, number 3 says Kate works in a dress factory that makes dresses for designer boutiques. She is paid a piecework rate of $85 per unit produced. Okay, yesterday she made 3 dresses. How much did she earn? Okay, well, for piecework, you're just going to multiply the amount per piece times how many produced. So you're going to multiply 85 times 3. So for piecework, we're just doing the amount times the number produced. Okay, so let's figure that out. 85 times 3, so 255. So she made $255 yesterday. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at number 4. Okay, number 4 says Tony picks strawberries and gets paid a piecework rate of 45 cents per container for the first 200 containers picked. He receives 65 cents per container for every container over 200 that he picks. Okay. Last week, he picked 270 containers. How much did he earn? Okay, so you have to think about this. For 200 of these, he's getting paid at the first rate, 45 cents. Okay. The rest of them, which is out of 270, the rest out of that is 70 containers, is getting paid at the higher rate, 65 cents. Okay, so we need to find out what he makes on the first 200, what he makes on the last 70, and then add these amounts together. Okay, so the first 200 at 45 cents means I'm going to multiply by 0.45. This is 45 cents per container, right? So 200 times 0.45 is $90. So he's getting $90 for these ones. For these ones, he's doing 70 times the higher rate, 65 cents per container. So let's go ahead and figure out that. 70 times 0.65, 45.50. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to get his total. So we're going to go ahead and add $90 plus 45.50. Okay, and we get his total is 135.50. So that is what he got for 200 at the lower rate and 70 containers at the higher rate. Okay, so let's take a look at number 5. It says Glassman Chevrolet pays commission to its car salespeople. They are paid a percent of the profit the dealership makes on the car, not on the selling price of the car. Okay, so they're paid on the profit the dealership is making. If the profit is under $750, their commission rate is 20%. If the profit is at least $750 and less than or equal to 1,000, so it's $750 up to 1,000, okay, their commission rate is 22%. And if the profit is higher than 1,000, the rate is 25%. Okay, so it says Express the commission C of X as a piecewise function. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at how we would write this one. Okay, we know that X is representing the profit, C of X is representing the commission. We have a 3-tiered commission here, so we're going to make sure that we make our brackets big enough that we can fit 3 lines into our piecewise function. Okay, now I know that if the profit is between, if it's under $750, the commission is 20%. Okay, so we know that they're getting 20% of the profit, right? So I'm going to say that I can express that by 20% times X. That's 20% of the profit, right? 20% times X. Okay, this is happening when X, the profit, is under 750, so is less than 750. Okay, so there's our first line of our piecewise function. Okay, the second part said when it's between 750 and 1,000, so from anywhere from 750 up to 1,000, they get 22% of the profit. So I'm going to go ahead and write 22% of the profit. So 22% is 0.22 times X. And this happens when my X value, my profit, is between 750 and 1,000. Now remember, it included 750, so we put a little equal sign under here, and it included 1,000, so we put the line under there to show that it's 750 all the way up to 1,000. It includes these two numbers. Okay, that's why we have the equal to. All right, last, the profit is 25%, so I'm going to put 0.25 times X. Okay, and this happens when the profit is above 1,000. So this is happening when X is larger or greater than $1,000. Okay, so there's my piecewise function. Okay, so in number 6, it says find the difference between the commission paid if a Glassman Chevrolet salesman from the previous example, so from this example, sells a car for $750 profit compared to selling a car for $749 profit. Okay, so if they make a $750 profit, this means that X equals 750, right? If X equals 750, then it falls into this category, right? Because it's equal to 750, where they get 22%. So the commission, when X is 750, is going to be 22% times 750. Okay, so my commission, if I sell $750 of profit, okay, is going to be at a 22% rate. So 750 times 0.22 gives $165 commission. Okay, that's our commission. When we've got a 750 profit. Now, what if the profit is 749? What does X equal? Well, X equals the profit, so X is only 749. In this case, X is less than 750. So because we had $1 less in profit, now our commission rate is at 20%. So the commission there is only going to be 20% of 749. Okay, so let's figure out what that commission is. It's $149.80. Okay, now the question is, what is the difference between these two amounts? That's the question, right? Find the difference between these two commissions. So we're going to go ahead and subtract to find the difference. So the difference is going to be the higher one minus the lower one. And so the difference in pay is going to be 165 minus 149.80, which is $15.20. Okay, so just by bumping up into that extra dollar of profit range, you would make $15.20 more. So these salespeople will be highly incentivized to get into that next tier of profit, right? Because they're going to get a significantly more amount of commission, okay? Okay, so let's take a look at number 7. Okay, number 7 says Joyce works at Fortunato's Furniture. She is paid on commission. She receives 10% of her first $900 in sales and 15% of the balance of her sales. Last week she earned $750. What was the total value of the furniture she sold? Okay, so last week it says she earned $750. So we already know that this is her commission. Okay, we know that in her situation, okay, she gets 10% of the first 900 and 15% of the balance. Okay, so for this one, we would kind of want to set up an equation to help us solve this. Okay, so we know that she's getting 10% of the 900, right? So she's going to get 10% of her first 900. Plus she's going to get 15% of the balance. I'm going to call the balance B. Okay? Together, those two things added together are going to be her commission. Okay? So let's fill in what we know. We know her commission was $750. Let's start simplifying our equation. I can multiply this, okay? So 900 times 0.10, I get 90. Okay, let's subtract 90 from both sides so we can isolate B. Okay, I get 660. Sorry, guys, I'm running out of room, so I'm just moving over here. Okay. Last, let's divide by 0.15. Okay. Okay, so I get the balance of what she sold was 440. All right. Now, the balance isn't the answer because the question is what's the total value of furniture she sold? So remember, she sold 900 and she sold whatever the balance was. Okay. So the actual answer for this one is going to be, we need to take our balance and add 900 to it. So for our answer, our total sold, we're going to take her balance, 4,400, and add the first 900 that she sold, that she got paid on, and see what we get. So 4,400 plus 900 is 5,300. Okay, so this was the amount in total furniture she sold. Okay, was $5,300 of furniture. Okay, let's take a look at number 8. It says Lauren is a salesperson at Coslow's Tires. She is paid a monthly commission. She receives 6% of her first $1,000 in sales and 11% of the balance. Today she earned $203. What was the total value of the tires that she sold? Okay, so we know that she's getting 6% of the first $1,000, plus she's getting 11% of the balance. This is going to equal her total commission, which today she earned $203. Okay, so I've just set up my equation similar to the one above, using these different percentages and this different commission amount, right? Okay, so let's start simplifying the equation. 0.06 times 1,000, I get 60. Let's go ahead and subtract 60 from both sides. Okay, last, let's go ahead and divide. Okay, so 143 divided by 0.11, I get $1,300. Okay, so her balance is $1,300. Now, this is not the total that she sold, okay, because the total that she sold is going to be the first 1,000 and the balance together. So I need to take the balance and add to it the first 1,000 she sold, right? Because it's this plus the balance, right? So her total sold is $2,300. That would be your final answer for that problem.